of the month. Can you believe we're in September already? This year is absolutely flying. I know it's similar for many of you out there. I really enjoyed catching up with quite a few of you this week. So thank you so much for reaching out and getting in contact. It's always great to meet in person. And I know, especially over the last few years, we have increased our networks, but not necessarily been able to take advantage of being able to be in front of people. So that's great to have been able to do that. Now, this week, there has been quite a number of you reaching out around why is my supply chain in question around my insurance, around other internal policies, etc. And part of that has become more relevant by the fact that only recently there was a number of charities that were embroiled in a breach by a telemarketing firm up in Brisbane. And it's really sad to hear that that sort of organisation was therefore having knock-on effects with these charities. Now, supply chain, what does that mean? It is the people that supply services to you who may have potential to access to your data. That includes your customer data, etc., as well as your business IP. So why is these questions being asked? Is because they need to understand where your data lives and what is it, the steps that these organizations are taking to secure access to your data and therefore have access to your customer data and possibly be breached similarly to this telemarketing organization up in Brisbane. So is it important? Absolutely. Should you be asking the questions from your supply chain? Undoubtedly. Firstly, put in place security measures around your organization. Of course, the essential 8 is a great way to start for a Microsoft-based communications or a business of sorts. If you're a Linux or a Macintosh user, that is definitely going to be a little bit difficult because they don't apply to that. But asking what is the security posture of an organization, a supply chain of yours, and have they done a maturity assessment to understand what level they are currently at? This is crucial to your organization and your data not being breached. Now, the other thing, my other point of concern, and the reason you've been asked this is, often or not, systems can be linked, especially between organizations of supply chains such as vendors or for contractors, for example. Now, the reasons these are important is because that data that lives within those organizations means that they can access, or in this case, breach a supply chain organization to gain access to what is fundamentally the target. And that could be your data. And we've seen this in a number of ways, for example, with the ATO, where law firm was breached so that they can gain access to certain data and certain information from the ATO. And it's happening time and time again, which means the supply chain is now becoming more and more critical in being asked what it is that their security measures and security postures are like. Now, you'll probably start to get some of these questions come through as an organization servicing other organizations about your security posture. Have you done the required elements to show that you guys are taking initiatives to increase the security within your organization? Is that something that you should be concerned about? Absolutely. Are there quick wins or quick ways to be able to do that? Absolutely. If you have any questions about how to do that, feel free to comment below. I will contact you and I'll let you know quick and simple ways that we could potentially be of assistance. Now, one of the key factors is don't worry about what it is that the organization may potentially be doing in the future. It is about what can you do now? How do you step that? And of course, show visibility and transparency through to the board, to your CEOs, etc. This is crucial, especially when you're starting to look at how directors are becoming personally liable for these sort of engagements and breaches now moving forward. So I'm hoping that has given a little bit of detail around why the supply chain questions are starting to come up. Now, the other really interesting one that came up a lot this week was around digital detox. Too often we are being bombarded with information. We are bombarded with messages. There are so many platforms that can fill your phone up within minutes. I know I am one of those who I'll literally possibly go grab a coffee, leave my other phone upstairs. I'll come back and my phone is full of notifications. Now, why is this important? You start to take these notifications and put them on what's known as do not disturb, not just your phone, but also your desktop devices. And the reason being is it creates a culture within yourself and a sort of mantra around being instantly responsive, always available, and trying to make sure that you are getting back. But in so doing, you can distract yourself from what your core function as a day-to-day requirement in serving your clients is important. So therefore, by doing these distractions or removing these notifications, it's certainly going to give you the ability to get back to being in focus. Now, one of the key researchers has found the more that we do these intermittent notifications or the intermittent responses, we actually start to find irritations, anxieties, etc. And that actually means that as a person, you are less efficient and you don't perform as well. Personal top tip, I love to put the do not disturb feature on my Apple. I know that there is a similar version on Android. Now, I did post earlier this week on how to take notifications from the bottom right in your Windows devices to go to snooze whilst you are focused. So that means it's called a focused time. And similarly, you can do that on many platforms as well, especially on Macintoshes as well, and give yourself time to breathe. Now, same with emails. By scheduling time, say for example, you block out a 15-minute bracket every few hours, give yourself that time to focus on emails and then be able to focus on other things that you need to do on your day-to-day or as a family member or as a focus group. And it's the same thing we like to do, especially when we're out and about as a society. I've seen more often than not people with their heads down, which is dangerous, especially when you're walking around the CBD, potentially walking into traffic with your head focused. But when you're around, it's always important. Try to take some time to get to know people without digital distractions. And that means one-on-one communications. And it really, really makes a difference to engaging with your audience and those around you. Now, I'm hoping some of that has helped answer the questions we've had. I will be answering a few around that you've had. Wi-Fi security. Why is it important to secure my device, and especially on public Wi-Fi? And I'll certainly be addressing those next week because I know that that's something that you've been talking about with and asking lots of questions around. Last bit of information, not sure if you're aware, but ChatGPT has launched their Enterprise Edition. Wow, how great. Many reasons to be considering this over the free version. One of the major ones is that your data won't be shared across the public infrastructure. So if you are considering using AI or ChatGPT in your organization, it's certainly something you should be considering the Enterprise Edition, not the free version, so to speak. And the reasons behind it is, again, data and privacy. But secondly, they've upped their security. This includes a single sign-on, a multi-factor authentication option, and the data being encrypted at rest, meaning it's harder to be pilfered, breached and hacked. So any questions around that, please let me know. I have put in a comment earlier this week in a post, but you're welcome to check out OpenAI's website around the launch of their enterprise product. Now, hopefully everyone is prepared to spoil their fathers around this year. In Australia, it is Father's Day on Sunday, so I look forward to seeing you all enjoying some time with your families this weekend. But until I see you guys all again next week, thank you so much for all of your questions and your time this week. I look forward to hearing all about them, and I will catch up with you soon on another Ask Anything Friday. And as I like to say, think before you click. The boogeyman's definitely out.